My fiance wore my wedding dress under the influence and ruined it.
Are you sure he wasn't slaying?
This sounds completely ridiculous, but it really happened and I can't stop thinking about it. Some people are telling me I completely overreacted and I'm starting to question myself. What do you think he did?
I think he got drinky and he ripped the dress.
Ooh, yeah. I'm 28 and was supposed to get married last weekend to my fiance, Nick, who's 30. We've been together for 4 years. He's funny and a little bit impulsive, but I always thought he had a good judgment. He drinks socially, but I've never seen him totally out of control until now. By the way, this comes from RudeWinter9192, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So,
Dang.
the night before our wedding, I stayed at home with my sister and 2 of my bridesmaids for a relaxed night. Nick went out with his groomsmen. I expect him to come home tipsy at most. At around 1:30 in the morning, he came home absolutely wasted. Slurring, stumbling, sweaty. I was brushing my teeth when I heard him banging around the guest room. When I went to check, I saw him dragging my wedding dress out of the closet.
Oh, no.
But you've caught him, so you can say, hey, stop.
Yeah, you go, what are you doing?
I asked what he was doing, and he just laughed and said, you want to see how it felt to be the bride?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I told him to put it back and not to touch it, but he was not listening at all. Right in front of me, he stripped down completely and started putting on the dress. He could barely get it over his body and kept tripping over the train. I didn't know what to say. Then he dropped to the floor in the dress, still laughing. Then he went quiet, looked up at me with a panicked face and said, oh no.
He said,
Oh no.
A few seconds later, he had an accident.
oh, no.
Diarrhea.
Oh, no.
I don't even want to read this part.
Oh.
It was bad. I'm just going to say it was bad.
Oh, it's so much worse than what I thought.
Yeah, I thought he ripped at the dress, but he just ripped himself.
He ripped.
That's maybe the worst possible option.
Oh, man.
That's gross.
Just was thrown into a furnace
Yeah.
and incinerated.
Maybe that's better.
Might actually be better.
I stood there in shock while he started crying and tried to get out of the dress, which only made more of a mess. Oh.
God.
Oh. It was everywhere.
It's no longer a white dress, it's a brown dress.
Ew.
Oh.
I told him to get in the shower and I left. I drove straight to my mom's house and didn't take any of his calls. The next morning, I called off the wedding. The day of the wedding. I mean, how do you get married after that? Well, you know what? Actually, no. Yeah. I was going to say, like, maybe that's like the final test.
It's like,
The final test, if you still love the person after that, it's like, okay, you guys are ready. But that's pretty bad.
it's just like, why is this happening now?
Now, the day before.
Also, is that typically when the bachelor party's supposed to happen?
No!
The day before the wedding?
I was about to say, like, why was he so, like, wasted the day before the wedding?
Yeah.
Why would you want to be hungover the day before your wedding?
What are we doing?
I've done some stuff for like the bachelor party before the night before, but they're like, don't go out of control.
Yeah, there's a whole movie about that.
It's the weird part is that she said that he's never done this or doesn't do this, and this is like the first time she had ever even seen him out of control like
the
that.
one time.
Yeah.
Why is it happening the day before your wedding?
Maybe it's like the pre-wedding jitters and it just got,
Now it's the pre-wedding.
oh man.
I can't say it.
Since then, Nick has apologized over and over. He said he blacked out and barely remembers what happened. His family is furious with me and saying I'm throwing away a great relationship over a wasted mistake. Some of my friends agree and think I should have postponed instead of canceling. Even my maid of honor said I might be letting emotions take over and that it wasn't unforgivable.
See, but like,
They
then
weren't
you gotta
there.
tell me, I'd be like, y'all didn't see it. Like,
Y'all didn't smell it.
She said exactly what happened, you know?
I mean, like,
Would you, if your partner had this happen, would you just say they got wasted and ruined the dress? Because I probably wouldn't say everything that happened if I was still like thinking about staying with the person.
I think they've checked out. I think it's one of those things where it's like, I just can't ever look at you again without seeing you pooping yourself in my wedding dress. So I don't know.
No, I'm saying, do you think that she told everyone else?
Well, I mean, I think if you're planning on staying, you probably don't.
Wouldn't tell.
But if you're planning on leaving, you don't really care.
Yeah, because I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's over.
Well, she's only said that she canceled the wedding. We don't know if they're like breaking up, which they might be. But I feel like if she's planning on breaking up with him, probably told everyone. If she's not planning, she might not have told everyone. And so that's why maybe they're like, oh, it's forgivable. He just like got wasted, made a mistake.
The ball is rolling down.
I don't know. At this moment, for all three of us, where do we stand? Do we break up, or we just like postpone the wedding and like have a actual discussion?
I would postpone the wedding. I wouldn't break up until I had an actual conversation, because we don't know why this happened.
Yeah, what if he was like, oh no, honey, like I don't, like you tell him, like, because he doesn't know. He's like, he legitimately doesn't know.
I mean, I don't want to jump to the worst conclusion, but there are a lot of reasons why a person, like there's he might have been given something, that he didn't know about. Like that's the worst possible thing. But like there are so many different reasons why. It could have been that he got super wasted and didn't realize, there are a lot of different reasons, some that are totally within his control, some that are not. And I would want to have a conversation before I made any like huge decisions.
I think you can not get married. I think if it's me, I'm like, all right, I'm no longer ready to get married to you.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know you were capable of such things.
But I feel like something broke that night. I didn't just feel disgusted. I felt disrespected. The dress wasn't just expensive. It was important to me. It symbolized something. I cannot unsee what happened. I can't laugh about it or move on like it's just one bad night. I don't know how to look at him the same way. Am I overreacting for calling off the wedding? Relevant comments. Does Nick have problems with booze or substances? OP says he's never had problems with booze before, not that I know of at least. Do you think it's a sign of something worse? Commenter 1 says, is this something that happens often? Does he often get blackout wasted? If yes, consider this a bullet dodged. Either way, it's a little concerning he got blackout wasted the day before your wedding. I think you need to have a conversation to figure out whether this is a relationship worth saving. OP says, no, this is the first time he's ever gotten this wasted in the time I've known him, which is why I think I might be overreacting. Commenter 1 says, is it possible that someone put something in his drink? Which is what I was thinking. From your description, this is not in character for your fiance. OP says, I hadn't thought of that. Maybe. Could it really have caused all of that? Also, he was out with his friends, not like he was with strangers. Yeah, but, there are many circumstances that,
Yeah.
It can happen.
Look, I don't even think it has anything to do with the circumstances, the context. I think it's the same thing. It's the same kind of situation of like, if someone like cheats on you and you get back together, you're still always going to, you might have a situation where it's like, when I see you, I just see you like with that other guy. And now it's like, regardless of if you meant to, or if you were blacked out, or if you whatever, when I see you, I see that version of you that did that in the wedding dress right before we got married. And I can't stop seeing it. So I don't like, if that's the case,
yeah,
I don't know where you go from there. A lot of therapy, maybe.
Yeah. To forget it.
Come on.
Some diapers.
Ooh. Commenter 2 says people are still themselves when they are blackout wasted.
That's not true.
That's not.
That is. I mean, that is the most least untrue thing.
That's just a weird comment to make, to be like, people are themselves when they're blackout wasted. Like this man would not,
not cognizant.
Like relieve himself if he were sober.
This man's been wanting to poop in a wedding dress his whole life.
He's always wanted it. Like, come on, that's a silly...
Every wedding dress he sees when he is wasted, he's like, that's my next target.
Yeah, that's an excuse. That's like a thing that you say when someone cheats on their partner.
That's my toilet paper.
I see the cut too of this guy
in
standing front of the window of a bridal shop, just like looking longingly into it. And then his wife's like, what are you thinking about, honey? He goes, oh, nothing. You wouldn't understand.
I gotta go to the bathroom now. Yeah.
I've seen my husband fend off flirty women when he was so wasted. He was still himself when he ignored you. He was still himself when he wore your wedding dress, something that is obviously special and off limits. I disagree with this comment.
Yeah. No,
The dress is the most important item of the most important day of your life, and he pooped on it. No one forced him to get that wasted, and he was still himself when wasted. OP says, I don't know. I'm worried some of his friends might have been pressuring him to drink. Commenter 3 says, it's the series of bad decisions that gets me here. First, getting piss, or in this case, crap wasted the night before your wedding. 30-year-olds can't bounce back like a 21-year-old can. Being hungover at your own wedding is a bad look. Go ham at the bachelor party, sure, but maybe keep it to a couple drinks max the night before. Second, it's deciding to wastedly put on your fiance's dress. I'll be honest, I'd be terrified to go anywhere near it until after the wedding. I wouldn't want to be the cause of any sort of issue with it, especially with T-minus 24 hours until the wedding. Third, it's the decision to keep going even though you're struggling and ignoring your pleas to stop. Hard to excuse so many bad decisions in such a short time.
Okay, this is just somebody writing a comment like fundamentally not understanding what blacking out is.
Yeah, I think that
What you still decide to drink that much.
Yeah, I was
but
about to say, you can criticize him deciding to drink that much and therefore, doing all of this. But I feel like to say, like, I can't believe he ignored you. Can't believe he put it. Like, this man is blackout.
Like, this person's just never been around someone drunk like their whole life, really.
This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm picturing. He walks into the room. He's like, I'm going to put on the dress. It's going to be really funny. And he's like, I'm going to fart in it. It's going to be really funny.
No.
Dude.
The thing that got me was the fact that he's like, I want to see what it's like to be a bride. I want to feel what it's like to be a bride. It's like, do we have some like unresolved? What's going on there?
Oh, 100%. There's something weird to that. But I think
That's
he was
probably
just,
the
like,
real
trying to be
emotional
funny.
core.
He was just trying to be funny, and then it just totally Uno reversed himself.
But update. Hi again. First off, thank you to everyone who responded. I didn't expect the level of attention my post got, and honestly, reading the replies made me feel less alone. Some people told me I was right to call it off. Others said it was a terrible mistake, but not unforgivable. Both sides helped me see the situation more clearly. I spoke to Nick this morning, not for closure, not for a big emotional talk, just to return some things and check in about logistics since everything's been canceled. But we ended up sitting down and talking for over an hour. He apologized again, sincerely. He didn't try to defend himself or shift blame. He told me he didn't remember everything clearly, but knows he came home wasted, saw the dress, and in his words, thought it would be funny or meaningful or something. He didn't mean to ruin the dress. He didn't mean to humiliate me, but he did. And he knows that. He said he's ashamed of what happened and how out of control he let himself get. He also admitted this wasn't the first time his drinking led to something bad, which is probably why you haven't seen him drink, really. He said this was a wake-up call and that he's going to stop drinking entirely. I didn't even know he had a problem. The thing is, I still care about him. We were supposed to get married. I didn't walk away from someone I didn't love, but something inside me cracked that night and it hasn't healed. I don't know if it will. I know it sounds superficial to some people, but for me, it was a symbol of our future, of the person I thought I was marrying. And watching him defile it in that state, whether on purpose or by accident, changed something. I've been trying to figure out if that one night should be the end of 4 years together, but it's not really just that one night, is it? It's what it revealed about how he handles stress, about how far he let himself go, about how I felt standing in that room watching someone I loved become almost unrecognizable. By the way, you should recognize that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Epoke Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Dude, sometimes like a moment happens and you just can't un-moment the moment.
Yeah. You can recognize that you've made a terrible mistake and you can recognize that you have a problem with drinking, but you've already hurt the person that you love.
Oof, can't go back and undo that.
Yeah. And it's like a great, I am very proud of him for making, or like at least, thinking about making this decision, saying like, I never want to drink again. I want to like going forward. Don't want to do that again. Obviously, we don't know if he's going to fall through, but hopefully, I think that's a big decision.
I gotta say, something like that should probably make you stop.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there
like
are
if
moments.
you can't stop after that, that's a very serious issue.
Exactly. There are moments in your life where you hit rock bottom like this, and you realize, wow, I need to make a giant change. But unfortunately, sometimes when we hit that rock bottom, you don't always get to like, sometimes you lose the people that you care about.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him full, like, all right, you're off the hook. But the one thing I appreciate from him, he's taking full accountability and he's not blaming his friends. Like, he's like, oh, yeah. Like, he didn't mention his friends. We don't know. But from what his words seem legit.
No, I think that he's like, I don't want to, sit here and be like, he sucks. He's the worst. He's an a-hole. Like, this is a man who made a very bad mistake, recognizes that, wants to make a change in his life. Doesn't mean that OP has to stay with him.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Exactly.
No matter how bad you want to, because you're just like, I just see the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Every time I think about you, that's what I see in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't keep going if I see that.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I don't know, I've seen some comments. I'm in no way like being like, well, if you get blacked out because you don't know what you're doing, it absolves you of all responsibility. In no universe would I think that. But it's more like we had some comments where it almost sounded like someone didn't understand that when you get to a point of blacked out inebriation, like there are biomechanical processes in your brain that turn off.
Yeah.
And you no longer are at the helm. You are not driving the car anymore. It's
Also,
just going.
Yeah, but there's a little bit left to this story. I haven't made a final decision yet. Technically, the wedding is still canceled, but the relationship isn't officially over. We're on kind of an emotional pause. That's fair. I guess he says he wants to make things right. And maybe he will. Maybe with time, I'll want to try again. But right now, I still feel like I'm grieving something that ended. And I don't know if I'm ready to build it back from scratch. So I guess I'm now asking, am I overreacting if I walk away from this completely? Top commenter says, not at all overreacting. This is not about the dress, but what it meant to feel powerless as he did something stupid, thoughtless, and immature after drinking himself into a stupor, and the glimpse into your future you got that you couldn't gaslight yourself into ignoring because it ruined something so symbolic and expensive. Believe the symbolism. This is a red flag. Not that he's a bad person, but that this partnership might come with significant difficulty long term as he continues to cope with life stresses in immature ways that leave you always having to be the adult in the house. I've been in relationships where I've made excuses for every red flag. I've seen loved ones endure relationships with addicts, hoping they'll change if they just pour enough love in. None of them realized there was a problem at first either. But it seems like your boyfriend is admitting there is something to that theory. None of the aforementioned relationships had a happy ending, and most have been extremely, extremely bad in a way that seemed uncharacteristic for the partner when he finally hit rock bottom. You may genuinely want to change, and you may be hopeful that could fix some things. But long term, a lot of people have trouble quitting substances when nothing of significance has changed for them. And they're still in a situation where they can see opportunities to drink or use and know they can without losing much. Comfort and stability are your enemies when fighting addiction because they enable a reticence to change. I want to add, staying in a relationship where you feel like you have to be the adult and take steps to manage the other person's behavior gets extremely taxing and builds a lot of resentment very quickly. Think of this as something that tore off your rose-colored glasses and made you look at an ugliness you didn't want to see, held your eyes open to a version of your future you didn't anticipate. If you are absolutely 100% sure this is a one-time thing, it might be repairable. But I feel like if you're willing to lose all the money and effort sunk into planning a wedding and go through the ordeal of canceling, that seems like it implies a larger issue underneath, whether it's about the way he handles stress, his propensity to hurt you with little careless things, or how often you envision yourself cleaning up his messes or managing his behavior in your lives together. The cliche is true. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I made excuses for everything my ex did that made my skin crawl. And when we finally broke up, I was worried he might actually hurt me for months. Even now, a few years later, I don't think that was crazy. I think he was more than capable of it, resented me, and I believe tried to break into my apartment. Obviously a different situation, but for years, other people in our lives had tried to point out red flags to me, and he did things that definitely gave me a lot of pause. But I always opted to look for the best in him. In hindsight, I embellished and exaggerated some goodness that wasn't really there. I lost 5 years of my life to that relationship, and figuring out where to go from here has been incredibly difficult. I wish I had left the first time something he said or did gave me the sinking feeling of, this is my future and I don't like it, rather than convincing myself I was overreacting and being unfair. Please learn from my mistakes. And that is the end of that story. And that, to be clear, was a commenter, not OP saying all that. I think that, Dakota, you have a really good point of, this might be the only thing that she ever thinks about, which is valid. And if that is the case and you really can't see yourself ever forgetting or ever getting over it, then, maybe this relationship is not going to work out in the long term. And that's okay. But maybe there is a chance. Maybe you can have that conversation. Maybe, as he begins this journey of sobriety, you're like, you know what? I see that he's willing to change. I'm willing to give it a chance. That's also okay. There are many different paths for you.
This could have been the same story with just a different, it could have been, he came home really drunk and then he started telling me about how the earth is hollow and full of lizard people and how we're going to fight back against the lizards and we're going to make our family nice and we're going to have a strong family together. And then after he said that, I could never be like, honey, are you sure you don't think the earth is hollow and full of lizards? He's like, no, I swear I don't. It's like, yeah, but you really, really meant it that one time you said it to me. Yeah. And now I can't stop seeing you as a guy who thinks the lizards are going to invade from the center of the earth. So I don't think this is working anymore.
And we do have another story, folks.
My girlfriend discovered I'm queer, and she did not take it well.
It's Pride Month. She has to.
It's illegal for you to not accept that. This is ridiculous. But she has explicitly asked me to ask the internet because she's convinced she's in the right. So my girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 21 male, were talking about school and our childhoods a few days ago. I originally lived in England, but she's always been a Scotland girl, so we were comparing. Cool. I was showing her pictures of me and my mates from when we were 16 or 17, and she noticed that me and one of my friends seemed a little close in some of the pictures. Even noticed that I was sitting in his lap in one of them. By the way, this comes from user Noodleoodle Scrooble.
I like that.
And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK storytime subreddit. So she asked me, and I just flat out told her that's my ex because it didn't seem like a big deal to me, and it still doesn't. She got a bit annoyed and then asked me why I hadn't told her about this before. I assumed this she was talking about was my ex, and I said that I hadn't really thought about him in a while because we were teenagers, and I've moved away since then. She got more annoyed and said, not that. I mean that you like guys. I got kind of confused then because it's not something I hid from her. She is right. I've never explicitly told her that I'm bi, but I have pins of the flag on several bags. We thirst over male celebrities together. I mean, the night we met, I was flirting with her male friend at a pub. Obviously lighthearted and before we were dating.
So there were pretty clear signs.
There were big old neon signs flashing around.
Obviously, if someone has a pride pin, it doesn't necessarily, it could mean they're an ally. But if someone has a very specific pride pin, maybe we can do a little bit of, cognitive thinking.
My boyfriend is a big fan of the color spectrum.
What?
Because of the rainbow.
Oh,
just imagining someone's like, yeah, I don't know. He just has a bunch of like.
You said that so. You said that so like.
Sorry, I thought we were all smart enough to know that the visible spectrum is, a rainbow.
Just the way that you said that didn't sound like. Anyway, okay.
So anyway, I apologized for not telling her and asked what the big deal was. She's not a closet officer by any means, and I didn't understand why she was getting so angry. Buddy, I think she might be.
I think
you're about to find out that she actually doesn't like that.
I think there is this thing where, like, very often when you have straight women who are dating a bi man, or just straight women in general who are like, I wouldn't date a bi man because he's been with men, and like automatically see them as gay, as like just gay. They're like, oh, they're not actually interested in women, and which is, you are being a closet officer if you think that they're not interested in women because they've been interested in men. And like I have a friend whose ex-girlfriend, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, like she was talking to her friends and they were saying that they would never date a bi man.
Right.
Why? Like, I
But
understand.
I would never date a bi man because they don't exist. They're just gay.
That's kind of what a lot of people think.
But
which is crazy.
Those are the kind of people who see Neapolitan ice cream and they just break down into tears.
They're like,
They just start crying and weeping.
No, it's the type of people that are like, bi men are actually gay and bi women are straight because everyone has to like men.
Well, see, my take on that is being bi is gay and straight. It's both. Ta-da!
You've done it.
But it's at least a little gay.
Yeah, it's gay, but they just think they're full gay.
It's also a little straight.
It's also that's the point of the
And that's why
bi-ness.
we call it bi.
And that's why it's got its own name.
It's the whole deal. I told her as such, and she stared at me blankly, appalled, as if I should know. She said she didn't like being lied to, which, again, I didn't lie. She never asked, and it never came up.
She also assumed that you were straight.
Right.
That's her fault.
Okay. I get why she was upset at that. It could be seen as hurtful, and she's sensitive. We both are. So I understood and apologized. She then said she couldn't believe I had ever been with a guy and that it was weird.
Yikes.
I asked her why it was weird. I said that I've seen pictures with her and her exes and that I was okay with it. And she said the ex thing didn't bother her. It's that my ex was a guy.
Yes, because she's a closet officer.
This baffles me more
She's just undercover.
because, again, she's not a closet officer.
I think we've reached the problem. She is.
If it walks like a duck,
She is.
Quacks
Just
like a
because
duck.
she's not saying slurs doesn't mean that, she isn't being prejudiced.
I know exactly what you were thinking.
Keep reading.
this baffles me more because, again, she's not a closet officer. At least I didn't think she was.
Yeah, there it is.
She asked if I ever thought I was just gay and not bi.
Yep, there it is.
And I said no. I said I liked girls before I ever knew I liked guys. She said to me she didn't really believe in biety. Said that it wasn't a good look for the community or something along those lines.
What?
What is that?
What?
Imagine that line used in literally any other context.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Like imagine she dropped that line about an interracial couple. She would be literally ran out of town. It's just like, it's just
you
kind
not a
of
good
have
look
to
for the
pick
community.
one or the other. I don't think it's a good look for the community. You're insane. I said, well, I am one. So that's the proof, right? The argument basically went around in circles at that point until we went to bed. We haven't really spoken properly since. Whenever I try, she interrupts me and tells me that she can't believe I was gay before her and lied about it, which again, I'm not gay, I'm bi, I like girls, I like her. It's so frustrating to me because she won't even hear me out and just tells me she feels betrayed that I lied to her and she thinks I'm just dating her because I don't want to fully commit to being gay.
Yikes.
So like, we should be breaking up,
Yeah,
right?
we should be breaking up.
Yeah.
That is an insane point of view. That's crazy. You've been with this person and to think, and also I don't even like the oh, you lied to me thing, which OP already apologized for, but I don't even like that because one, she assumed his sexuality. And also just given the way that he brought up, like, oh yeah, that's my ex, clearly is open about it.
Yeah.
Clearly wasn't intentionally hiding anything. So like, what are you talking about?
Just a indefensible position
Yeah.
for OP's soon to be, I hope,
I
ex-girlfriend.
hope so.
She hasn't broken up with me as of yet, but I feel like she's going to if we keep arguing like this, and she won't let me get a word in. So am I the a-hole? Brother, I think you need to be the one breaking up
You gotta
with
break
her.
up with her, yeah.
What?
Mm-mm.
It's just, I feel like really the core of this, it comes from like, maybe not even like homophobia or anything, just like a place where it's like, well, it's like, now I have to feel insecure about every other person who's not me.
Well, but that's
Now I have to worry about every other person on the planet potentially being able to take my man.
But that's biphobia. Because it's like, it's the idea that, because in a relationship, let's say you're we're a straight person in a relationship with a straight woman, straight man, if you are thinking that everyone's going to steal your partner and your partner's going to cheat on everyone, all of those men or women, then you're not in a healthy relationship. The same goes.
Of course.
if
No,
you're,
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying I think this just comes from a place of like probably already insecure.
Yeah, but
and
I think
now
it's
it's
the
like,
fact
oh my
that
God.
she's saying it doesn't exist.
Well, of course.
You're just gay. Like
Yeah.
those are all rooted in heavy amounts of biphobia.
Or should I say,
Which also comes from insecurity, because I think there's this like insecurity from well, I'll talk about straight women because that's what we're discussing in the story. But there's this insecurity from like certain straight women who think that they'll lose their boyfriends to a gay man because they're like, oh, he's not actually into me. Like he's not bi, so he must be only into men. Like there's that thinking, which comes from biphobia.
There's an edit. Nothing has happened with the situation because it's the middle of the night and I posted this a few hours ago, but this seems to have blown up a little bit. So I'm going to clarify and clear things up. First of all, those people who think I'm going to give my girlfriend an STD or convinced I have AIDS or whatever, F off, genuinely. I'm sorry I don't like being mean to people even over the internet, but far too many of you seem to have this thought. First of all, my girlfriend insisted that we both get tested before we did anything because she got one from a previous partner and doesn't want that to happen again.
Wow.
Second of all of you convinced that I slept around with men and contracted some kind of virus. I have never had traditional spicy sleep with a guy. The only guy I've ever been with was first relationship with said ex mentioned in the post, and my only other relationship has been with a woman who took my V card, which the relationship only lasted a month anyway, so stop. Now, to clarify some important things. Yes, I know I should have mentioned I was bi to her once we started dating, but truthfully, it didn't even occur to me. Look, I don't know, like it's not like a penicillin allergy. Like it's not like you have to like be hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Danny. I'm bi.
Yeah, I think there's this expectation that queer people have to, and also not on both. Like I think that queer people expect themselves to have to come out constantly. It's like this thing that you never have to stop. You can never stop doing over the course of your life, but that doesn't mean that you have to do that. You don't owe anyone like an announcement. You clearly aren't hiding it. You know, if she assumed that you were straight, that's kind of her thing that she needs to reckon with. Like you literally were not trying to hide it at all. You had a pride flag.
Right.
She just assumed
She
that
said-
you were straight.
She literally said, "Who's that guy in that picture?" And you went immediately, "Oh yeah, you're
That's
my ex."
Yeah, like you weren't like, it was just a friend. Like you weren't lying.
And it was then that I knew he'd been hiding it from me this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm a little airheaded and thoughtless, not very good at communicating with people in general, and can be quite thoughtless and annoying.
Aw.
Oh, buddy, let's stop with the negative self-talk, huh? Most of my friends back home are queer, and a lot of hers are too, from what they all said when I met them for the first time. I've also been told that you can tell I'm bi by a lot of people, including my own parents. So, with all that, it completely didn't occur to me to tell her. I do know, though, that it really isn't an excuse and that I should have told her immediately in the pursuit of transparency. No, stop it.
No.
It's like the same thing of being like, I don't know, like I broke my wrist when I was 7. It's like, you've been lying to me our entire relationship. I didn't know you broke your wrist. It's like,
I think if she had said, hey, how many partners have you had? And then you purposely withheld that one partner that you in high school, maybe that would have been kind of, you're hiding something, but it doesn't seem like she asked that until that moment.
Right.
Like there was no...
I'm working on my communication skills and knowing when to be more mindful and mention things, even if they don't seem important to me. I wasn't trying to hide it, and I wasn't trying to make her guess by leaving little hints here and there. I thought it was obvious, so I didn't mention it. Clearly it wasn't, and I need to be more mindful. I would never lie to her on purpose to be malicious. You don't do that to people you love. I hate this so much.
He's taking all of this on him.
Yeah.
She literally said, I don't believe that it exists.
Yeah.
It's a bad look for the community.
Dang. He's acting like it's my bad. I should have let her know she should be bigoted towards me earlier.
Way earlier.
That's all on me. That's my
The thing that
fault.
she is telling you is, I wish you had told me earlier so that I didn't date you. That's what she's saying.
I've been with my girlfriend for almost 6 months. The reason this didn't come up in the beginning of our relationship is because it was quite a whirlwind in the beginning. As in, we met in December, and 4 days later, she began a week stay at my flat. So we moved quite fast. My girlfriend attends university close by as well as having a job, so we may get to see each other over the weekend or maybe a Friday date night, but that's about it. So I like making the most of my time with her, so we don't talk about serious stuff all that much. People thinking that I'm going to cheat on her or think that she thinks I'm going to cheat on her, I hope I've made it clear to her that that isn't something that would happen. I love and adore her so much that it physically hurts when I don't get to see her for over a week. Aww. I'm not interested in being with anyone else spicily at all because I'm not in love with anyone else other than her. The majority of these comments are calling her a closet officer, biphobic, and, well, I don't really know what to think about that right now.
Yeah.
I think we can think maybe it's a possibility if she denies the existence of bi people.
Yeah, buddy. Sorry. It sucks. It's not something that she can't like grow and learn and, you know, hopefully change her mind about, but it is a true fact right now.
It's such a weird thing to deny someone.
You don't exist. It's like that one guy who's like, I don't think women exist. Remember that one story we read?
Yeah, it's like women aren't
real.
It's the beauty of the gaycation.
It's the beauty of gaycation. It's just like this like intense denial.
That's what he needs. She's one step away from being like, OP, I think you just need to go on a gaycation.
Yeah.
Just get it out of your system. It's okay. I'm okay that you're gay for a week with these guys on the gaycation. You just come back to me straight as an arrow. Thank you.
People don't like to live in the gray area. They like black or white. They say, this is either this thing or this thing. It can't be in between.
Everyone's a little bit gay. Come on.
Eating the chocolate vanilla swirl cone and someone's like, that's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. You're like, I'm eating it right now. It's real. It's like, no, it's not. It's not real. Nope. And you're bad. I need to talk to her properly. She's a very emotional person, which is something I absolutely adore about her. But it does mean when she's angry, she lashes out. I need to talk to her about it all, and I need to talk to her friends. I'm not throwing this away if she was just lashing out or being ignorant. She's not an unreasonable person. She only knows about my most recent ex because she was asking about a scar on my forehead, the boy. And I told her the story, which included her. Yes, she does love me and doesn't care about my spicy sleep drive or lack thereof. She's not manipulating or gaslighting me. She is just letting me know when I've done things wrong, which I like because no one else ever tells when I've done things wrong. I'm bi. I'm not gay. She's not a beard. I like guys. I like girls. I love her. If I missed anything, it's because it's 3 a.m. and I'm tired. If you want further clarification, comment and I'll try to answer. And we have a consensus here. It is not the a-hole. But we have an update here. What are we thinking?
I mean, I understand that he doesn't want to just like break up with her right away. But I also think that there is a little bit of denial going on. A lot of bit of denial going on. I think that he's like, no, she loves me. She couldn't possibly be thinking this about me. Yeah. I know she said it, but she couldn't possibly be thinking this.
I think it was pretty clear being like, and for those of you saying she's a closet officer.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more, I guess.
Like she's telling you that you made a mistake for existing?
Seems like she just doesn't want to date a bi person.
Yeah.
And I want to make it clear that I feel paranoid that I'm being interpreted as saying that like bi people will cheat or are more likely to cheat because I'm being like, well, you gotta watch out for more people. I'm not, look, when I say competition, I'm not being like, yeah, and then they're just going to go cheat on me with that person. It's like, no, but it's like, if I'm dating somebody and they could theoretically leave me for Chapel Roan.
Okay.
And now I have to worry about Chapel Roan?
You're better than Chapel Roan.
I mean, sure, I can gas myself up and be like, I'm better than Chapel Roan.
Are you okay?
But like,
do you need a confidence boost? Chat, could you all say that Dakota's good looking because he's just scared?
Because there's stuff Chapel Roan can bring to the table. I can't.
What do you mean?
And so
you
it's
bring
like,
way
but
more.
that's the.
You bring so much more.
It's not about bringing more or less or being better or worse. It's just about being different. So if I have a partner and they're like, I think I want a different thing now.
I don't know. I got my one eye. I got my one eye on you right now.
You know, I don't know. It's not about being worried that they're gonna like infidelitis. It's just like it's an extra layer of like intricacy. Undeniably, right?
I feel like in trying to dig yourself out of a hole,
I don't feel like there's a hole.
dug an ant tunnel system.
Okay.
You don't have to. It's okay.
How is it a hole to say that, though?
It's not.
I think that you thought that you had dug yourself a hole, and then you tried to dig yourself out of it, and in doing so created a network of catacombs.
And now you are
like
lost.
underneath
And now you're
Paris.
lost.
You are
lost
lost.
yourself.
No, it's just that you
There
gotta
wasn't-
be
there
you
wasn't
gotta
a-
be on point when
Hey,
the
you don't have to defend
competition
yourself.
is everybody.
What?
What do you mean?
Your bi partner, if you date a bi person and they pick you.
All right, Keon. Hey, Keon. How many people have you dated? Are you dating the first person you ever dated?
That's not.
Did that work out?
No.
This is what I'm talking about.
I'm
You don't
so
end up
confused.
dating the same person
I
forever
think we're both-
all the time. What are we
I'm
talking
confused.
I know
about?
what Dakota's saying. but I
Please, can
think-
you say it the right way then? Please say it.
No, I just think you've already said it. And
Okay.
you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole that didn't exist.
Now I feel like I've just been saying it wrong.
Yes, you
but
said it
now
more
you said
wrong.
you know.
You
say
said it very
the right
wrong.
way.
Dakota's saying that when you're dating someone, you might be concerned that there's better people out there. And when you are dating a bi person, you're doubly concerned. That doesn't mean
She's
that
cooking.
they want to cheat on you. But my point is, I don't think you were ever in a hole. I think you thought you were in a hole and you try to dig yourself
Wait,
out.
why are we talking
and
about
got
me now?
lost.
No, don't talk about me. Talk about the point. Talk about the point.
The point is we need
Now
to
I'm
read.
throwing it on the floor. You're not cooking anymore.
The point is we
Yeah,
need
that's
to
right,
read.
Maya Jambalaya.
Update. I hope y'all liked that too. That was fun.
No.
I know it's okay. I just wanted to make sure people don't
We
think
all
I
get
think
it.
bi
We all
people are
get it.
cheaters.
No.
I don't think that. I posted my initial post on Friday night. I hadn't seen or heard from my girlfriend since Tuesday. I sent her the link to this post on Saturday afternoon and told her that once she felt ready, I would like it if she came over so we could talk about it in person. About 3 hours later, she was at my flat. She hadn't eaten and it was late, so I cooked and we ate in silence. She didn't really look mad, but she obviously wasn't very happy. It's crazy hearing this because I feel like OP is the one who should be mad.
Yeah. It's like OP is so stuck in the thinking that he's done something wrong when he literally just exists. And she's reckoning with her own. And I think by letting her think that you've done something wrong, it's giving her, like, you're kind of validating her point.
Right.
Not intentionally, of course. Like, you're not doing anything wrong. But, like, I think that in her mind, she's like, oh, well, you admitted it. So I'm right.
There you go.
But you've done nothing wrong.
Right. Once we had finished and I'd cleaned up, she told me that she's sorry she's ignored me for 4 days.
Yikes.
I told her that it was fine and that she didn't need to apologize and she clearly needed space. I decided to bite the bullet and just get into it. I apologized for not telling her properly this time. I told her that I shouldn't have assumed she'd just be okay with it because I expected her to. I told her that even if I don't think it's a big deal or that it didn't even cross my mind that I had to tell her, I understood that it was clearly dishonest of me and that I don't really have a good excuse for why I didn't. Brothers,
You do have a good excuse.
to be clear, this is all wrong. And I feel like the OP feels like just like all of the responsibility to address or fix any problem in the relationship is on him.
Yeah.
Even when it comes down to like, oh, you just don't accept my actual identity. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
Like you're apologizing for being yourself.
Yeah, so don't do that. Like, you can do that in a political, tactical way where it's like, I'm just I'm appeasing somebody. But like,
Yeah.
don't ever feel in your heart that like, you're like, yeah, this thing I wasn't hiding from you even.
You
I'm
literally
wrong.
said I shouldn't have assumed you would have been okay dating a bi person.
Which is crazy.
What?
I try to never lie to her, especially about important things, and whilst I don't see this as lying because it's not, I now do see that it could be interpreted as that, or that I've got things to hide. I told her as such, and she told me to stop apologizing. Okay, she said something right. She explained that she'd read my post as well as the comments, and I asked what she thought about it. She was quiet for a minute before she told me that she didn't like people calling her a closet officer,
Aww.
and that she didn't think she was being that. She just
Well-
didn't understand how a person could be bi. Be.
I don't even understand that. You don't. What do you mean you don't understand?
I don't, just, again,
Person
imagine.
likes man.
Imagine
Person likes woman. Person likes everyone? What?
Imagine that
How is that
sentence
the hardest
applied
thing?
to any other concept.
It's like saying
I
like,
don't understand how someone can be a woman.
it's like person likes orange. Person likes apple.
Yeah.
You like both? What?
I have an apple. I have a pen.
Keon,
Fine. Apple.
how are you Filipino when you're Jewish? You have to be one. How does that work? I don't understand it.
And that actually is a lot of history. That's what they did.
So when a man and a woman fall in love,
And now what? Wait, what is a man?
And now we're
I
back
don't
to the
understand. Okay. I tried to stay calm because I could see she was overthinking and getting upset. I told her that I don't think she's a closet officer either, not as a whole anyway. And then I tried to explain it to her as simply as possible. I didn't want her to think I was speaking to her like a child or that I was being condescending, but I did have to use simple terms to make sure there was absolutely no room for misinterpretation. I asked her, but you understand how guys can like girls and how girls can like guys? And she said, yes. I then asked, do you also understand how a woman could like another woman or how a guy could like another guy? And she said, yes again. I then said, okay, now stick with me.
Stick with me.
I asked her then why she didn't think it could be possible to like girls as well as guys.
And she's like, well, now you've lost me.
And she didn't really say anything
Dude.
because the gears in her head got stuck.
She's like,
And the smoke started to fizzle out of her ears.
Ann Smith, Alice's girlfriend, is an idiot. The thing is that it's not even like idiocy, because I know a lot of people in my life who also share this same thinking, who are very smart. And I'm like, how? But it's this like cognitive dissonance. And I'm like, I don't understand how you can just not put two and two together.
yes, Maya. Well, now you've lost me.
It's like this intense binary thinking that they cannot allow themselves to break out of, which doesn't make sense. Binary thinking.
And I could see the cogs turning in her head. She said that she couldn't see how you could like both, how humans are hardwired to like only one gender. And so if I was saying that I liked guys first, and by her logic, I could only be attracted to one gender, then I must be gay. I was very confused because I'm not a scientist by any means, but I definitely know that that isn't true. I'm not a scientist, but I do know I'm dating a woman right now, so I don't know.
I do know I am in love and attracted to a woman right now, so you're wrong.
Between a rock and a hard place.
It's like staring at the sky and being like, yeah, that's blue. And someone be like, no, it's green. I'm telling you it's green.
Yeah, but it's...
Scientists said it was green. And then you're like, no, I'm looking at it right now.
They're like, you know the color green. So when you take the color blue and yellow, it makes green. No. Only blue or yellow. Only blue or yellow.
No green.
No green.
Green
only
doesn't
blue or
exist.
yellow.
My socks are blue.
Well, because if you put both those colors together, then it's a different color, and that we can't have that.
Dude, I've got blue, green, and yellow right here.
I asked where she had heard this. She told me that an old friend who she met at her old job was a major LGBTQ activist and was explaining things to her. Okay, so this is really interesting.
Did she use those words? Did she say LGBTQ? Did she say LGBTQ?
Well, no, there is a thing within the gay community.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of biphobia in the queer community.
And
absolutely.
It's been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah. No, it's on both sides.
It would make perfect sense for her to have heard this from somebody.
I'm just saying.
Who was probably presenting themselves as like, I'm an authority on all of this.
I just think it is hilarious if she said, yeah, I know if my friend is a major LGBTQ activist.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, sorry, B? What's the B for?
That is
They're
funny.
an LGBT. They're just, what? So I didn't quite hear
great.
that. What?
It's literally in the acronym.
Yeah, she's like, no. B stands for bigot.
Oh my God. I told her that's not right. She told me it was. I asked what possible evidence she could have for that. She didn't have any, but she said that this friend was deep into the queer community. I don't know him. I didn't ask. And that I'm not really involved. So she's more inclined to believe this old friend rather than me.
Oh my God. She has learned nothing.
All I have to say is it's Pride Month.
Yeah.
I was hurt, of course. really hurt that she would say this, but I couldn't get mad because then we'd just both be mad and upset and we'd be in exactly the same place we were 5 days ago. So I decided to change tactics. Okay, is the tactic breaking up with her?
Please.
I asked her that if I've had a boyfriend and if I'm not secretive about liking guys, why on earth would I be dating her? I told her that me admitting I like guys clearly shows that expressing that kind of attraction wasn't an issue for me. So why would I be using her as a cover? And what would be the point of using her as a cover if I was a gay in the first place? She told me it's because I was embarrassed. I asked her about what? Again, goalposts moved. I asked her about what? She said that you like guys. I told her I'm not embarrassed. I asked her if I looked embarrassed at any point on the day all this went down. I asked her if I looked embarrassed now, and then she reluctantly said, no. I asked her why I would agree to and actively pursue dating her if I wasn't attracted to girls. She got mad at this point, but I eventually managed to calm her down again. Getting me mad at this point, brother. You just
really admiring OP's patience.
We took a breather. I went to my room. She went to the balcony. And when we reconvened back in the living room, she asked why I was dating her. I told her because I love her. That's why. I told her that I thought she was funny and smart and gorgeous and that she had so much life in her that I found it a privilege to even be near her, let alone to date her. She told me that she believed me, but she still didn't understand. She asked if it was a phase then in school, and I told her no. I said to her plainly, I am attracted to girls, and I'm attracted to guys. She asked me if this meant I wanted to date a guy then instead of her. I told her no. Babe.
This would drive me insane. This would drive me insane.
I like Scorsese movies. I like Spielberg movies. I can watch both of them.
Like the amount, like this is like debating with a child.
Right.
They're like, why is the sky blue? Because the sky's blue. But why? I don't understand why the sky's blue.
Do you like spaghetti or do you like penne? You only get one. And if you pick both, I hate you. I feel like I'm comparing being gay to very trivial things. But it's not on purpose, but just to illustrate how absurd her lack of understanding is.
You're doing it well. It makes sense.
She asked if I wanted to date a guy as well as her, and again, I said no. She asked why I was so determined to be acknowledged as bi, which is insane because he never even brought it up. He wasn't yearning to be acknowledged as bi. He thought she was upset that she thought he was lying, quote unquote, to her the whole time. He's so nonchalant about it. He doesn't even care. I told her being a bi is just a fact about me. Just like that I love books and the color purple and that I hate the smell of grape-scented felt tips. I told her those were all facts about me too, but they don't affect our relationship. So neither should this one. I asked her why it bothered her so much besides the whole not believing bi people exist thing. I said, I know it's more than that because you wouldn't have gotten so angry if it was just that. She explained that she thought me telling her was my way of hinting I was going to break up with her. I laughed, and asked in what world that would make sense. I had told her because she asked, and that if I was going to break up with her, which wasn't going to happen, then I would have just done it and not been cruel about it or dragged it out. Just the fact that she saw that as that's what you were doing, is such a red flag because that means she would do that.
Yeah.
She would do that to you. She said that she thought me saying I was bi and her not thinking it was real was me trying to take the easy way out, so she got mad. It was almost 2 a.m. on Sunday by the time we got to this point, so we decided to stop and carry on in the morning. When I woke up, I was worried and trying to prepare my points in my head like I do before I say anything important, but I didn't really have to. My girlfriend walked back into the bedroom with 2 mugs. She made me sit up and handed it to me with the promise that she could speak first. I nodded and took the mug, the speaking mugs. She sat next to me and said that she didn't sleep well, that she couldn't stop thinking about everything, and she said that she still didn't understand, not really, but that she loves me and she knows that I love her and she's going to try and understand because she didn't want to lose me or what we have and that she doesn't like to be ignorant.
Dang, man.
I guess the best thing she could have said, other than like, Oh, I get it.
It took so long just to get there.
Exhausting.
It's like a full labor.
I thanked her and said I'd send her some resources. So if you guys have any that explain bi-ness or anything in that vein, then please link them. We agreed that we would try and push past this and that we would make sure to tell each other everything from now on, no matter if it seemed important or not. She's taking counseling at her university to try and manage her anger and control her emotions. And by the way, you can control how many full episodes with stories just like this you listen to, and it should be all of them. You can go listen to them at Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime and you can listen to over 2,000 episodes. Crazy.
Yeah.
But what's even crazier is we're almost at the end of this story.
Thank goodness. Wow, this person is... OP is a saint, and his girlfriend is just frustrating.
OP, you might as well just become an Olympic track star, the amount of circles you're running in
Let's
with your
canonize
girlfriend.
this guy, because wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the end of it for now. We're obviously still in rocky waters, and if anything else happens and people want me to update, then I will. But I think that's basically all of it. Our talk on Sunday morning was long, but I summed it up as this post is very long already. Also, for the people asking me to ask her friends about if they knew about this behavior, I asked one of her friends, whose number I have, and she said that it wasn't an issue a few years ago, but she suddenly started asking about it around the same time she had met that girl from her old job. Apparently, everyone in the friend group had called her stupid or something for believing that, but that was all that really happened. I've asked about who this old coworker is, but I haven't gotten a reply yet. Okay, thanks everyone. And that is the end of that story. So even her friends were like, yeah, I don't know. Somebody told her bi people weren't real and she just ate it up and we all called her stupid.
That? She was just like, yeah, that guy told me. And everyone's like, what guy? And she's like, I don't know. He's not here anymore. He doesn't go here anymore.
I don't know, but he said he was king of the gays.
Yeah, so I believed him.
I took him as an authority.
But folks, that's the end of that story.
And the end of that episode.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and see you tomorrow.